Hey guys, I want to talk with you a little bit today about a dynamic that rears its head very predictably, almost unavoidably at some point in everybody's relationships as they progress along. We've all been guilty of this. I certainly have in my life more than once. It's just this element that, and this is certainly not exclusive to males, but I'm mostly talking from a guy's perspective and mostly to the males out there, but women are guilty of this too. But just this concept that when you first start a new relationship with somebody, you are quite literally acting almost like a different person. You've got your best foot forward. You are showing your best version of yourself. Once again, I'm going to use the example for the males out there. I mean, you're this James Bond character when you first get to know a woman, most likely or hopefully. I mean, you're composed, you're polished. Your looks are on point. You're in good shape. You got your charm and your wit about you, and you are that desirable, high quality, just like the James Bond character. And that's like a lot of times, of course, like what captivates the woman's attention is perhaps like some of the reason at least why she continues to involve herself with you and falls in love with you maybe, or whatever you want to say. But inevitably, as relationships draw on, we all get a little comfortable, right? You start to lax on these things for whatever reason, and it's a natural thing, I think, that happens, and you start to feel that as you gain more and more of somebody's acceptance, that it's okay to slack off a little bit here or there. You start to you let your body go, you let your diet go, you let that charm escape you, and you turn into a goofball, or you turn into just somebody, at least once again from the man's perspective, like something that is not what she initially really liked about you. And there's a very big amount of effort that's involved with just this concept that I'm laying out here, that it's like no matter how long your relationship lasts for, or really from the very start of it all the way through the very end, if that's death doing you both part, or a couple years down the road when you part ways, like you have to maintain this James Bond about you. And it does take a lot of effort, and it's really hard to do, and it's something that we all allow to happen from time to time. But I just want you to have this consciousness about it and just know that it's there. And I want to circle back to something that somebody told me a good couple of years back. There was a girl that I was dating for a brief period of time, and we had a conversation about this, and it was interesting to hear her perspective. And she had told me something that really stuck with me still to this day. And she just said that to attract somebody initially, that's really not all that hard. The looks maybe what draws the man in initially, and like we said, that charm that it initially drags a woman in, or whatever it is, from both angles that brings people in initially. That's actually not that hard to pull off. I mean, you only have to do that for a brief period of time to accomplish that initial attraction, like just to get your foot in the door. But like I said, this is the point that she was trying to make. She's like, that requires very little effort. But she's like, it requires a lot of effort. It's like maintaining somebody's attraction throughout the extent of your relationship. So in her perspective, she's like, when I'm actually in a relationship, that's when I know I've got to like work out the hardest, and I've got to like keep myself up, put more effort into keeping myself up. And like, really, that's when the hard work starts, and it never ends. And that it resonated so loudly with me. And I think this is a concept that this is nothing new here. I'm sure you folks have heard different iterations of this message before. But I wanted to share that little piece with you that she told me, and just to leave you with that is that just to remember, like as you go on in your relationship, like the work never ends. It just like that's when the real hard work starts, and that's where the challenge arises, and that's where many of us have faltered, I think, in our relationships, and many of us have certainly lost people, from our lives because of things related to these elements. And it's an interesting game, this whole like tango of love and relationships that we're all playing. But it's just having that, just accepting and really embracing that fact that yes, relationships require like work, not only on the relationship continuously, but like work on yourself continuously. Like you have to maintain yourself as that person that attracted them initially. it's just such a big element, because and once again, from both angles, like, nobody wants to be around that person that gets lazy or that stops treating the other person the way they did in the beginning. That's probably the biggest one, I think, is what I see, at least in my experience. I mean, people really truly begin to treat their partners substantially different as the time goes on, and that's of course a natural thing. It's going to happen. I'm not saying that anybody's immune to these things, or that it's never going to be a factor, but just like I said, the whole point of today's message is just like having the consciousness, keeping that in the back of your mind, and remembering that as you go through life. It will help you, and I do really believe that these elements will contribute to maintaining a healthier relationship and a stronger relationship and all these sorts of things over the course of time that you're involved with this person, whoever it is. So that's all for today. Hope you guys are having a wonderful day. We'll talk to you real soon.